don't know who the hell we think we are when we do something like that.
What's up, fight fans? This is the Combat Connection. I'm Brett Cagle, joined as always by Eddie Law. We're coming fresh off the UFC Fight Night Qatar Fight Night card where Arman Tsarukyan defeated Dan Hooker, and a litany of other contenders put on some great performances as well. Eddie, we're here on Thanksgiving week, and Gable Stevenson was also victorious in his APFC debut, picking up his second win in professional MMA. Let's start off with Arman Tsarukyan and Dan Hooker from last weekend, Eddie. What did you think of the performance from Arman Tsarukyan? Was able to get Dan Hooker out of there eventually, and really put on a one-sided performance, in my opinion, getting this submission in the second round.
Man, he showed he really wants a title shot. He ain't gonna get it, but he showed he really wanted that title shot. Arman Tsarukyan, he's the full package. He's kind of a rare gem in terms of he grew up rich. He has all the money in the world, and he still gets in there and fist fights with dudes. So he's one of those dudes that really, really does it, I think, because he wants glory, whatever it is, whatever you want to call it with a professional fighter. But great performance, honestly. It's kind of what I expected. I didn't think Dan Hooker was gonna, knock him out or anything unless he landed something devastating. I think Arman is just so well-rounded, and Dan Hooker's so not that's kind of what we expected to happen, I think. But it was nice to see a finish. It was cool to see a finish, honestly. And it's cool to see Dan Hooker not get murdered. Like he didn't get his ass beat up for 5 rounds and then leave the cage with his face falling off. He got submitted, is what it is.
Yeah, I feel like Arman is, he's coming into his own right now, and we've seen Dan Hooker struggle in some of these matchups in the past. Like down in weight, he struggled against Arnold Allen, got finished in that one pretty early. Didn't struggle on the feet with Arman at all, and Arman elected to go to the ground. But once he got it there, it was really one-way traffic, and Arman showed his superiority there in the grappling for sure. Would you have liked to seen Arman stand and trade with Hooker at all in that one a little bit more, or do you think he just went to the right game plan and got it done the way he needed to?
No, I think a lot of people are fans of that, right? Stand bang, all this other stuff, great. No, if you're a fighter on the cusp of a title shot, and we know he was supposed to, except he rolled around with Nina and fucked his back up or whatever. But, if you're supposed to be a guy that's supposed to be a contender, a legitimate contender for the title, I don't want you in wars. I don't need to see you be a badass and throwing hands in there. I need to see you be fucking dominant and doing the shit you're supposed to do to a guy, doing that shit. And he went in there and did that shit. That's exactly what I wanted, exactly what I expected.
Now, he's in a tough situation, right? Because we just got announced the interim championship, Justin Gaethje and Paddy Pimblett. We'll talk about that later in the show. But Arman, as you mentioned, was a guy who was slotted in there for a title opportunity before any of these guys, before Dustin, last year in June. This has been a guy who's been a number one contender for almost going on a year and a half. Eddie, is he certainly slotted in to face maybe the loser of that interim championship? It looks like he's going to be even one more fight away from challenging for a title himself if he wants to get to that championship match with Ilia Topuria. I think that out of everyone in the division, he puts up the biggest challenge to Topuria stylistically. But it's just, are we going to see the activity? We're seeing the same thing with Movsar Evloev, and it's, these guys don't get in there enough to, have that fresh name like the Diego Lopez's, and, Justin Gaethje hasn't been as active either, and we're going to talk about that later in the show. But for Arman Tsarukyan, I thought it was an impressive win, but he went in there and did what everybody expected him to do. He didn't go in and dust Dan Hooker with a knockout in the first round that really, maybe would have propelled him into some type of late-minute situation. But if there is a backup fighter for that interim championship, I want it to be Arman Tsarukyan. I think that's probably what he needs to be eyeing for, is probably trying to be that backup fighter for that interim title.
I mean, either be the backup or be ready to fight Ilia, should the winner of Gaethje Paddy be too injured to fight in spring. That's what Ilia said. He said, "Hey, I got personal problems. I'm assuming it's a divorce thing, but I got personal problems going on, this and that and the other. I'm not coming back till spring. If this fight happens in January 20, whatever the fuck it is going to be at, let's say it gets crazy. They both come out beat up and broken. All right, Ilia's ready to come back in spring. These guys are not going to be fully 100% ready to go. Slide Arman right in there, ready to go. Just be ready. So if I'm him, I lobby to be the backup fighter, but I also stay ready to slip in right into the title fight should this fight will go crazy.
Yeah, I think that's the exact, if you're his manager, Eddie, I think that's the exact advice you give him. But the problem with Arman is that he's not been ready, right? Even when he's scheduled to fight, he's not ready. He's not ready to come in on short notice. He doesn't want to do that. He wants to, get an opponent that matches him up stylistically and get a full camp. So I don't know. I think that Arman Tsarukyan at some point is going to have to take a tough fight here before he gets into a title opportunity, whether that's against a Charles Oliveira again or something like that. I mean, he has beaten guys like Oliveira in the past and has impressive wins, but and he did well against Dan Hooker. But I'd like to see him in that backup spot. Now, for Dan Hooker, what would you like to see him do? You think he stays at 155 pounds? He's fought at 145 before. I don't really necessarily want to see him go back down there, but I think that his cap is kind of limited right now for his potential, and I don't think he ever really gets to that title opportunity.
I hate to be this guy. I don't want to see Dan fight anymore. Like the kind of damage we've seen that man take, this is just as a personal thing, not as a fighting thing, right? And in terms of fighting, I want to see him only bangers. Forget, Dan's never fighting for a title. Can we just agree to that? Can we just assume that that's the truth? At 35 years old, Dan's not fighting for a title ever. That's it. The run is over. This was the last straw, the last chance, and it did happen. Okay, cool. Let's cowboy his ass. Cowboy did it way too soon. He's not cowboy. It's time to cowboy his ass. Only banger fights. Pay him well. Definitely pay him well. But only bangers. Only stand-up fights. Only guys who are willing to stand toe-to-toe and go to war with Dan Hooker. That's all I want to see for him now. But in terms of having watched him get his ass beat repeatedly over and over and over again, to the point where he has to go to the hospital and then breaks his hand that he just broke in training and shit. I don't want to see it anymore. If we go that route, just go. Just be done. That's it. Just be done. Go run your promotion and live your life. But what I think is going to happen is he's going to start taking bangers.
Yeah, I was going to say, Eddie, the one matchup I do want to see him maybe face next is Benoit St. Denis coming off that win.
Not mad at it.
I think that would be a decent matchup, striker, grappler. But, Eddie, is he going to keep running into these same problems with the grapplers, to where they're not going to want to stand with this long, dangerous guy on the feet? He's got the knees and the elbows when they're coming in. But if they get the fight to the ground against him, he's really kind of looked helpless off his back at times in his career. Do you think that's kind of going to continue to be a sticking point for him in his UFC career?
Oh, sure. Yes. No, dude, it's one of those things where it seems like, and I mean, I can tell you this from experience. I'm 39 years old, right? I'm 40 in February. It's a lot harder. The whole you can't teach the old dog new tricks is 100% accurate, right? It's really difficult. No, it's not impossible, but it's very difficult to improve to a level of grappling, for example, that he would need to face these guys that have been training everything their whole life. He's a striker. We know this. We've known this forever. He's primarily a striker. He's primarily trained striking. I know he's trained the ground game. He's worked his ass up on it, but he doesn't have enough time to get to that proficiency level to where he's going to be able to be dangerous on the ground. I think it's it. Honestly, it sucks that things never lined up for him. This what happens in the fight game.
No, I agree 100%. Like you were saying, he's in that Cowboy Cerrone spot right now. Hopefully we get some exciting fights from him moving forward. But Eddie,
the Bears had 200-yard runners today. God damn.
Yeah, Swift and Montague.
I got Montague on my fantasy team. Let's go. Sorry, dude. Someone sent me the screenshot of the fucking box score.
Hey, but before we get off this main event, though, do you think that Arman was given the short end of the stick here, given that he was the number one contender for about a year and a half? Or do you think that inactivity in the long run costed him losing, but when you look at Paddy Pimblett, he's beat Michael Chandler, Bobby Green, it's like, it's I don't know if is it warranted, Eddie?
No, okay. And I've had to explain this to a lot of people recently, so I'm going to go with it, okay? 2016, what happened in 2016? The UFC sold for $4 billion. My old Twitter account got nuked by some whatever. They fucking nuked it for some reason, so it's gone. But if you look back at that account, I think it's back up actually. But if you look back at that account, on that date, I said, today, deserved title shots are over. You guys can forget it. Every pay-per-view is going to have a gold title, a gold belt on it. If they got to make one up, they'll fucking make one up. BMF belt, interim titles, and all that kind of shit. I said, that's all that's going to happen, guys. We're not going to get any more deserved. Do not bitch when it starts happening. And it started happening immediately, right? I mean, Conor McGregor got a freaking title shot of beating Dan Seaver. Dan Seaver? Little short midget.
Dennis Seaver, Dennis Seaver.
Dennis Seaver, thank you. He beat that dude and somehow got a fucking title shot out of that. That is horse shit. Horse shit. So, and again, so guys, keep in mind, and write this down, tattoo it if you need to. I don't give a fuck. Tell everybody. The UFC specifically, MMA as a whole, but the UFC is no longer about competition and sport. The UFC is about entertainment. Entertainment. Yeah. They're not paired up with They're not paired up with the WWE for no reason. They're not paired up with TKO. They're not mixing those worlds up because because they like it. It's because it sells, guys. All right, the way you sell, for example, WrestleManias, right? There was a handful of times me growing up where everyone was just like, well, why are they doing that for the main event in WrestleMania? Was that guy fighting for the heavyweight title, or wrestling for the heavyweight title and shit? It should be this guy. He's been popping all year. Would you give it to this dickhead? We haven't seen him in 4 years. What the fuck's going on? Same exact shit. So forget deserved, forget earned, guys. You will eat whatever we feed you, and you will fucking like it. And for Arman, that, sir, is what happens when you piss off Uncle Dana and Hunter Campbell.
Yeah. And I think that when you look at the featherweight matchup, we're going to talk about it later in the show, but you can kind of say similar things. It's like we just saw that. You know what I'm saying? As a fight fan, especially if someone's a casual fight fan, I mean, yeah, Diego Lopez is a great name, and he just beat Gene Silva on a really big card. But, I mean, Movsar Evloev and Lerone Murphy are on extended winning streaks, and Lerone Murphy just had the knockout of the year. So we'll talk about that later in the show. But for this one, Eddie, we do have to move on here to a welterweight matchup between contenders. The future Ian Garry is now the present as he defeated Belal Muhammad by split decision, 30-27, 30-27, 29-28, one going to Belal Muhammad.
By the way, I fucked up his graphic, folks. My bad.
Was it unanimous?
It was unanimous, not split.
Yeah, I thought it was. I was like,
yeah, no, fuck, it was totally me. All right, this is what happens when you cover a card in the morning and you didn't sleep at all the night before. Sorry, my bad. All right, so don't get your feelings there hurt there, Mr. Daniel Pieroni. Eat a dick. Yeah.
But yeah, so Ian Garry put on a great performance, Eddie. Like, he peppered him from the outside. The defensive wrestling was fantastic. Belal Muhammad could not get into him on the cage and get him to the ground. And he just looked like the better athlete in there. He's so big and so long at this weight class. He's dangerous on the feet, the combinations and hand speed. He just looked like a better striker than Belal Muhammad and was able to keep and nullify the grappling that Muhammad is known for coming into this one. And against a former champion, Ian Garry picking up his first win against a former champion, that's a really big deal for this guy's confidence moving forward. I think he's an athlete that's fueled by that confidence, and this is only going to add to that fire for him.
No, it definitely is. And for Ian Garry, look, first of all, during the fight, it made me laugh that I saw some people thinking that Belal was going to dominate him. I'm like, okay, he's going to crotch sniff to beat him, right? And he's got to get to the crotch sniff. If you can't get past the reach and the reach of either arms or legs of Ian Garry, you're not sniffing a damn thing, buddy. And that's exactly what happened. And the Canelo hands didn't help him at all. They didn't come out at all. He couldn't wrestle. Belal Muhammad, for the most part, was stalled out. Anything he wanted to do, Ian negated it and negated it expertly. It was a beautiful performance from Ian Garry. I know everyone wanted to see a finish. I know Ian would say he was going to knock out Belal Muhammad. I didn't think that was going to happen either. It's hard to knock Belal out. You got, because but when you're throwing the right hook or left hook and shit, this dude's dropping for a takedown.
Ian hit him with some clean shots too.
Big shots, yeah, 100%. Dude, hey, give it to Belal. He's got a chin, but chins don't get you back in the title shots. We see this constantly with fighters, but specifically with fighters that only hold the title for one fight. They don't find their way back. And Belal Muhammad, I don't think he's going to find his way back.
Yeah, that's a great point. And when we saw the announcement, Belal Muhammad collapsed to the ground around his team and was just like distraught after the decision, when he probably understood that he didn't win, but he knew that, in my opinion, he knew that was the last time he was going to be in that position, to be in that number one contenders fight. And it seemed like you're saying, Eddie, that he kind of felt like the end is near. At least that's what I picked up from Muhammad in that body reaction. I
mean, look at Kamaru Usman when rematched Leon Edwards. He was beating the dog shit out of Leon Edwards for that first fight for 24 minutes. And in minute 25, Leon pulled it off. Come back, Leon beats him by decision. By decision. Did you ever think Kamaru was going to lose a decision? No one ever thought that, right? Mm-hmm. So that's the same thing. Henry Cejudo, same thing. And I'm not picking on Dylan's guys. They're just they take who comes to pop my head. But that's what happened. Exactly, that's what happened. Anderson Silva, rematch, broke his leg, never fought for the title again. So just keep that in mind. It's really difficult to come back. Charles Oliveira, screwed by the scale basically, but screwed by the scale, hasn't sniffed the title shot since. It matters, man. It's a huge deal.
And Eddie, the welterweight division right now is one of those divisions that, like, we're really spoiled.
Stacked.
We're going to talk about Michael Morales in a minute. We got Ian Garry. We got other guys that are at the Shavkat Rakhmonov has beaten Ian Garry. So it's like, what do you do here up at the top? There's a lot of names, and the UFC's got a lot of options there for this welterweight title. But Ian Garry, right now, I'd like to see him fight Jack Della Maddalena, the champion coming off the loss. I think if he gets 2 wins over the last 2 champions, there's no way you can deny Ian Garry any longer if he gets a win over Jack. And I think that'd be a very entertaining matchup between 2 strikers, and maybe we'd see Ian Garry go back to the grappling like he did versus Carlos Prates. So I really like that matchup for Ian Garry. Is there one that you think specifically he should get thrown into, or maybe a title opportunity?
I want to see him. Who's the title? Fucking Islam. I want to see Islam defending against somebody else first, and then Ian Garry gets in there. But I
want to see Islam Shavkat first.
That's what I meant. Shavkat. I want to see. Islam Shavkat. Islam wins, great. He ends up next. Shavkat wins. I have a hard time thinking Shavkat would turn that fight down to get it back in the title fight.
And that was a close fight, and it wasn't 5 rounds. This one would be 5 rounds. So there's something to that as well. So.
I take it back. I don't know why my brain went that he beat Shavkat. No. It would be difficult for Shavkat to say yes to that fight. He's going to be like, well, I already beat him. What the fuck? But Shavkat's not afraid of anybody. He probably thinks he beat him again easy.
I mean, it was a closer fight, and I thought it was one that I'd like to watch again, stylistically, 2 young kids. I believe that was Ian Garry's first loss as well.
Yeah, it was the first one.
Yeah, so run that back, see maybe if he can get something done there, if Shavkat can get the title. But for the welterweight division right now, there are a lot of fresh faces and new names, young athletic contenders moving up this weight class's rankings. And we are going to talk about the light heavyweight division next, as Volkan Oezdemir defeated Alonzo Menifield by round 1 KO. Eddie, we both called this one about exactly how it went. Menifield has kind of been shying away from contact in these firefights. Carlos Olberg was able to get him out of there in 16 seconds. And in that fight, it kind of looked like Menifield was shying away in some of those exchanges from Olberg. Similar thing happened here. He backed up to the fence, kind of looked tentative, and Volkan Oezdemir walked him down, landed a big shot against the cage, and then eventually got him out of there as well. I thought this was a really good win for Volkan. He's one of the most aggressive fighters at 205 right now. He's always a fan favorite, someone who puts on entertaining fights. And it's good to see this guy, former title challenger, get back up there, up the rankings, and maybe get back to a number 1 contender spot here the next year.
Yeah, no, it was good. It was good for sure. But I don't think Volkan's ever going to fight for the title again.
No.
Again,
do you think he can get to a number 1 contender fight, like against it,
Not at all. Not at all. He's entertaining. He hits hard and everything. But again, it's just 205. Who's the 205 champ right now? Fucking Pereira.
Yeah, you got Pereira, Ankalaev, Blachowicz. He's already fought Yuri and got knocked out. But you got the guys over there like Roundtree and Jamal Hill that are looking for people.
Olberg.
Yeah.
There's too many names. There's just too many names. He's in the back of the line. It's just he's going to have to start picking some of these guys off. It's going to be really hard to get some of those guys to accept the fight with Volkan coming off that win over Alonzo. Yeah. But I think Menifield's one of those guys that, like, I don't know. When I was in school, when I was a kid, I spent all my time in the playground, right, during recess and everything. And you always saw the girls playing with a jump rope, right? So they do one holding down one side, one on the other side, and then someone would jump in. If you're doing this shit, just timing it in, just trying to jump in and do the jump rope. If you fuck up the timing, you get smacked by the goddamn rope. Okay? Alonzo was doing this shit the whole goddamn fight, but he's been doing it the last 10 fights.
Tentative. It just looks like he's gun shy.
Make a choice and go. Even in his interviews, not like I'm gonna beat his ass. And not that I need you to be confident, but just be assertive. That's it. I'm gonna do my game plan, and we're gonna go for it. We're gonna do our best. Instead, it's like, he's tentative all day, all night. He's not a title contender type of guy, and he's not going to be. And again, he's running out of time. All these guys are running out of time. You cannot be tentative and hesitant in any game where competition means you're either unconscious or you're not.
Yeah, especially in these upper weight classes where these guys throw heavy leather, so you do get hit with one big shot like we saw this weekend. You can get put out with it or put in trouble. So Menifield's had to deal with that in the past in the last couple fights here recently, but maybe he'll bounce back. He's a good athlete. Someone who's going to be used as a not stepping stone, but a benchmark for these young contenders probably moving forward. But Eddie, we said goodbye to Jack Hermansson in this next matchup. He moved down to the welterweight division, 170 pounds. He had competed at 185 pounds his entire career. Obviously suffered that big knockout loss to Gregory Rodriguez earlier in the summer. But he returned 15 pounds shy of where he normally competed against Mayatek Orlabai, who is coming up from 155 pounds. So for me, when I was looking at this one, Eddie, I thought that Orlabai is fighting in his natural weight class. He's a guy who's hard to get out of there. On the ground, Jack's going to have to get him to the ground. He's never really been that type of guy who's been the dominant wrestler who gets 7 takedowns in a fight and grinds you out. So I thought that this was really going to be an uphill matchup for Jack Hermansson, and it ended up being exactly that. Eddie, it looked like the chin, just wasn't up to where we'd seen it in the past, and that's – we've seen that from Chuck Liddell. We've seen that from other guys. Once you get chinned a couple times pretty hard, you can get put out of there a little bit easier than we've seen you previously. So Orlabai went in there, did his thing, got the knockout in the first round. But to me, it looked like a diminished version of Jack Hermansson. Yeah,
Jack, when guys make these moves, right, especially late in his career, to move down a division, that's desperation. Frankie Edgar tried that. It didn't work out at all. He tried it for 2 divisions. 145 didn't work out. 135 met Corey Sandhagen's knee right to the fucking face, and that was that. It's very difficult up in age, you've been around for a long time, fighting guys and everything, to go down and suddenly be a breath of fresh air against the guy that's been doing it at 170 forever. Very difficult. So when I heard about this matchup, I'm like, nope, not gonna happen, not gonna work. Orlabai's gonna fuck him up. And that's exactly what happened. Now again, poor Jack, but he's better off staying at 85 and running away from guys the whole time. That's hey, I'm not breaking any news here. That's his fight style. Run away, and then crack, and run away, crack, and run away. He just runs away. That's all. He literally runs away. So
throw some leg locks in there on the ground, but you're right. Yeah.
Sometimes, yeah. I mean, if he feels like trying some shit, but he looks silly every time he fights. I'm not making fun of him. I'm legit explaining what he does. And at 170, that's not going to work against a guy like Orlabai, who isn't afraid of your little pitter-patter bullshit.
Yeah. I look at Jack as maybe a little bit better version of like a Gerald Meerschaert. Like he's good on the ground, doesn't necessarily get it there all the time. He's good on the feet, isn't really a knockout artist, but he's well-rounded everywhere, and he is tricky and dangerous and experienced. But at the same time, Eddie, he did call quits to his career. He doesn't want to put any more damage on the body, and I think that's probably the right decision after the last 2 knockouts. And when we saw this knockout, Eddie, he kind of postured up and fenced up in that fencing position, and once you're seeing that I didn't think this was necessary. This wasn't as big of a shot as he took from Gregory Rodriguez last time out. And, it was a big shot. Maybe it would have knocked him out at any point in time in his career. But it looked to me like he wasn't able to take the same damage that I've seen him take earlier in his career.
Right. No, I mean, you're right. You're spot on that, dude.
Yeah. So we're going to move down the card here. Waldo Cortez Acosta, on a week's notice, was able to come in and defeat Shamil Gaziev in a heavyweight ranked matchup. First round knockout, Eddie, threw a baseball winging overhand right that sent Gaziev down, and then finished this one with ground and pound. Waldo Cortez Acosta has parlayed a matchup with Ante Delija, which was stopped. He came back to win that fight by knockout, into a short notice fight here that he was able to win by knockout, into a Derek Lewis pay-per-view starting in January on UFC 324. He is going to be on that main card versus the Black Beast. This guy, Eddie, is all action. He's got that big baseball right hand that he's been able to score big knockouts with in his last 2 fights. And he's going to take on the all-time knockout leader in UFC history, Derek Lewis, in his next matchup. What do you think about Waldo's streaking kind of contender status here over the last couple fights? And do you think he's going to be able to take out the Black Beast when we see him come in January, fight Derek Lewis?
When you have a momentum, like, we'll get it right. He created momentum in the fight with Ante, right? It's eye poked and everything. I'm not about to call Tom Aspinall a bitch, goddamn. But even this dude wore the fucking pirate eye patch. Was up great. By the way, Waldo, fucking amazing.
He leaned into it. He's got a personality.
Chef's kiss on that. That was I felt were fucking dying laughing when I saw him put that shit on. And then he put it on Bisping on the wrong eye, so he blinded us. I think was it the wrong eye? Or did he cover the right?
No, he put it on the right eye because Bisping posted something. He's like, "Hey, they got the eye right."
Okay, because I was hoping it was the other one because I was like, "Oh my god, he blinded Bisping!" Like, But I was dying laughing because the whole thing's great. But this is a man who created momentum against Ante, recognized it, and said, fuck it. It's now or never. Put a pedal to the metal. He's going to go into this fight with Derek Lewis with a ridiculous amount of self-belief and momentum. I will not be surprised if he's able to beat him. At very least beat him, maybe knock him out. But I like the fact that he's just riding it. You know what I mean? They call him like, hey, you want to fight all the fucking way to, Doha? All the way to Doha to fight? Yes. Yeah, but you know, yes. I'm a heavyweight. I don't cut weight. Let's fucking go.
The willingness of this guy might be able to be explained. He just welcomed his 9th child this last week. So 9 children for Waldo Cortez Acosta. He's got to go out there and make that money, man. He'll fly to Qatar. He'll fly wherever you want him on any day's notice. But Eddie, this guy's entertaining at this weight class. He's going to be able to be here. Like, here's the thing. When they brought in Robelis to Spain, right, the Taekwondo guy a couple years ago, and everybody's like, oh, this is the next hot prospect, and he's going to be the karate combat heavyweight champion here pretty soon. Right. But he was brought in against Waldo, and they were like, all right, let's feed Waldo to this guy. Waldo showed me in that fight that he is smart, and his mind is honestly, to me, his best weapon when he's out there. Against guys like Robelis de Spain, he's able to get you to the ground. He's a very strong physical athlete, a broad-shouldered guy. He can get you down. He's got good physical strength. And then against guys like Gaziev, who are primarily grapplers, are big, brute guys, he's faster than you. He's got the good right hand, and he's a good athlete and can get you out of there on the feet. I think that, you know, the well-roundedness of this guy coming over from a different sport in baseball in less than 5 years to do what he's done has been absolutely incredible, especially if you look at other athletes like Greg Hardy and other guys who have tried to come over here from the NFL. They have not produced at the level of Waldo Cortez Acosta. And I think of any other, you could look back on it, and I don't know exactly, but of any other professional athlete that's coming over into mixed martial arts, I think Waldo Cortez Acosta has probably done the best of any of them.
I would agree. Honestly, I would agree 100%. Because it's just, he's shown, just look at the body of work. Plain and simple. Look at the body of work. It proves it.
Yeah, I think so too. And like when you got the Greg Hardys, or there was a couple examples, I think Austin Lane played for the Chicago Bears, and Muhammad Usman played, had a cup of tea in the NFL. So did Brendan Schaub. But Waldo Cortez Acosta right now is just, I mean, he's got elite athleticism, and the mind to me is what's pushing him over the finish line in some of these.
Sticking to it, going for it. He feels the momentum. He's going for it. I love that. I love that for him.
Yep. Eddie, we do got to talk about the return of Kyoji Horiguchi, former title challenger, then Bellator champion at bantamweight, Rizin 2-weight world champion over there, returned to the UFC, Eddie, and just took out Tagir Ulanbekov in an absolute dominant dismantling. I had this one wrong. I had Tagir winning this by decision. He could not get this fight to the ground. On the feet, Kyoji Horiguchi battered his legs with leg kicks. He was in and out of range. He was the faster fighter. He had more combinations. Tagir looked stuck in the mud. He was shooting for takedowns and then almost accepting defeat on his back to try and get into full guard. There was really no path to success for Tagir in this matchup. This was absolute dominance from Kyoji Horiguchi, who put this entire division on notice in his return, in my opinion.
It was straight up a domination. The domination, you know, and so I wasn't surprised at all by the performance. Meanwhile, Tagir looked like he was just like he didn't want to be in there. Like he just
that's the worst I've seen him.
He didn't want to be in there. Like he just looked like he knew he was fucked right from the after. Like maybe halfway through the first round, he's like, "Holy shit, this little motherfucker's fast. He's quick, and I can't grab him. If I can't grab him, I can't beat him." And now Tagir could strike. It wasn't working. It wasn't helping. So, my mind, as far as this fight goes, I don't really care about the fight itself. I think it's a great masterclass Kyoji, or just classic Kyoji, but. With 125 being so damn light in the ass, like a lot of people say, right? Not a lot of substance there. I have a hard time thinking he's not going to get a title shot right after Ban. Right after Ban. Hey, I'll tell you right now. Hey, if Ban goes out, this guy's in. I don't give a fuck.
Oh yeah,
fight, this guy's in. And that fight's next week.
Yeah. Yeah. Fresh face for Pantoja. Keep this guy warm. If something does happen there, I agree with you 100%. He should be the backup fighter for that contest. But just like you said, when they released Muhammad Makayev, they released their number one prospect, right? And they've had to fill that void with Joshua Van and fill that void with other guys. And Joshua Van's a great fighter, but we did see him get knocked out by Charles Johnson. And, he's not unbeatable. So when you got guys like Kyoji Horiguchi coming over here that have that Japanese background, have titles in other promotions from Bellator to Rizin, and you come over here and have that championship pedigree, I think that he's going to give one of the toughest challenges to Pantoja of any of these guys left. But Eddie, would you like to see him fight Kai Asakura, who's still on is he still on the roster? Would you like to see maybe a Japanese showdown between those two?
In Japan, maybe. But
yeah.
Look, we already know the UFC doesn't give a shit. They dropped the ball left and fucking right. 3 Mexican champions don't go to Mexico. You guys are stupid. But this would be perfect for like a Japan card. So that's why I think it's not going to happen.
One thing, Eddie, did I see that he's going to try and come back and fight in Ryzen at the end of the year?
Psychopath.
Did you see
Can
that?
he do that?
That's what I was going to ask. Can he get out of UFC to go fight in Ryzen and come back? I thought I saw that because he's champion over there still.
The only thing one of two ways. One, he worked out his contract somehow, and Dana doesn't do that. They don't do that. Or two, he signed a 1-fight deal. He's going to go fight Ryzen, and he's going to sign another fucking deal with the UFC. Who knows?
I mean, maybe he could do that, and I don't know. Maybe they'll give him a little bit more leeway than
it's a risk. It's a mad risk. If you lose that fight in Ryzen, if you actually go there, they ain't bringing you back, bro.
Yeah, they got a good card on New Year's Eve, so tune into that fight, fans. That's probably the best card left for the rest of the year outside of the UFC. So
Jay Anderson, that's all you, buddy. I'm gonna be sleeping.
Jay loves
those Ryzen cards. He loves them.
Yeah, we were up on him last year watching him, and Jay was up doing articles on all of them.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, fight fans, that is what we have for UFC Qatar from last weekend. Pretty good fight night card there, Eddie. I'm gonna give it an 8. I think that it produced well. Kyoji Horiguchi came back. We got a new contender in him. Waldo, we got a new contender in him. Ian Garry showed his championship pedigree, beating Belal Muhammad, a former champion for the first time. And then in the main event, Arman Tsarukyan stayed the talented number 1 contender. So I'm going to give this one an 8. A lot of finishes on the card, and I thought it was pretty highly entertaining.
100%. I give it an 8 as well. And keep an eye out for Luke Riley. All right, second round knockout was impressive.
Yeah. Eddie, we do got to talk about Cagle Stevenson. We were talking about him a little bit in the intro. We've covered him for countless shows. I think this is the best heavyweight prospect that we've seen since DC, and I think he could probably potentially be better than DC. This is probably the hottest and best heavyweight prospect we've ever seen, and he showed that, in my opinion, in this matchup. Now, he is fighting cans right now. He is fighting guys that, are journeymen and are in these lower-level Midwest shows and are doing this for a paycheck, 100%. But at the same time, when you're going out there and you knock a guy out with a left hook and you're going for a takedown and the guy's already froze cold, I mean, you got some level of reaction time that we just don't see in this sport. In the first fight, I was more impressed with him hurdling the ring that he fought in on a vertical leap than I was the knockout that he had over, I believe, Billy Swanson at the time. So, Eddie, I think that Cagle Stevenson is somebody that we're going to have to keep an eye out on every single time he gets in there, and he's going to be in the UFC in pretty short order. Do you think he is the best heavyweight prospect we've ever had in the sport?
Ever? No, I think Kane was a way better prospect by miles, dude. I think if you get Kane versus Cagle Stevenson, Gable's going to be running away because he gets peppered in the face. Again, we'll never see it because different timelines, errors, and shit. But outside of Kane, I'd have to agree with you. But here's my problem: he's fighting cans. You haven't shown me a damn thing. You haven't been in a war. You haven't shown me that you can get your face knocked off right in the first round and then come back in the second round and then dominate. What he has shown is that he does what he's supposed to fucking do, which is dominate cans. So, okay, cool. You at least show me that you're beating the guys you're supposed to beat, right? There's a lot of guys, you and I have seen many fights where guys fight down to the level of their opponent. He's not doing that. He's like, I'm Gabe with Big Dick Stevenson. I'm going to come for Stevenson, and I'm going to come and destroy motherfuckers. And he's exactly what he's doing. What he's supposed to do. He's going to come into the UFC, get another can or two, and then I want to see him get an actual hard fight. Like an actual hard fight. I don't want to see him go in there and just maul dudes. Like the fight in LFA was I hate to say it this way, but it's kind of a joke in terms of a matchup, right? Just a big fat dude that just took the fight. And APFC, argue with the wall, same shit. Okay, so
yeah, the guy was in shape, but that's not all you can say.
The levels are not. We already knew before the fight even started. You can not know who the other guy was, and you already knew the levels was like this, right? So it's he did what he was supposed to do, and so great. Give him the ticket to the UFC like it's coming, and we'll find out. But in terms of like, I would say he's definitely like a top 2, like heavyweight as far as all time because we know his credentials. Like the Olympic shit is amazing.
We haven't even seen him take somebody down and grind him out. He hasn't even had to do that yet.
Hands are good. Let's see it happen.
Yeah. It's kind of what I'm thinking. But Eddie, outside of the UFC, is there even anyone that you think can test this guy? I mean, if he goes to the PFL, we're not going to really like that probably, especially with what they got in the heavyweight division. Maybe going through that tournament and beating guys like Alexander Romanov, maybe that would actually be good for him, and Voldovsky and some of those guys. But I don't know. Outside those guys, I don't think there's anybody that can test him outside the UFC and maybe the top echelon guys in the PFL.
I mean, unless you take him fucking Ngannou, which is not going to happen.
Ooh, Eddie, did you just make a matchup?
Maybe a mauling. I don't know. Well, someone's getting either. I mean, look, I wouldn't be mad at that one. And don't take this the wrong way, guys. I am not a fan of Vadim Nemkov whatsoever because the guy puts me to sleep, literally. And but Vadim Nemkov would be a decent test for him, although the sizes aren't the same. I'm trying to think of other heavyweights out there. That honestly, it's maybe Rug, right? That big jab from one.
Anatoly Molikin. I don't know.
Yeah, like outside of the UFC, those guys, right? But like in terms of who would test him, Francis Ngannou would test him because Francis can wrestle too, but he's not wrestling the same, right? But Gable's not standing with Francis. No, this ain't boxing.
That's a hell of a fight. That's striker versus grappler UFC 1 stuff.
Yeah, Don Davis would cream his pants if that actually happened. Then his dumbass would fuck it up. Oh, wait, no, my bad. They actually have a promoter over there now. John Martin?
John Martin, yeah. They just announced 16 U.S. cards, I believe, too. So more PFL action in the U.S. this year than certainly there was last year.
About goddamn time.
But yeah, Gable Stevenson, I mean, this guy's a hot commodity. He's doing the dirty boxing. He's doing the MMA. Anything it seems like he can do combat-wise, he's in there doing it. He is full steam go in this sport, in my opinion. And that's what you like to see out of prospects, too. You want to see that they're dedicated to the sport. He's in there with John Jones. He's in there with Gordon Ryan learning the jiu-jitsu and stuff. And he's only had to use his hands so far. So for Gable Stevenson, I really like the future and what it holds for him. But
real quick, just very quickly, just because you mentioned it, the PFL thing. Did you see the rumor? I guess it wasn't really a report, it was a rumor that Riyadh season's going broke.
I mean, Eddie, look how many fights they've been putting on. I mean, how much money did they pay Canelo and Crawford? How much money are they paying Francis and Joshua?
UFC? Like I'm curious to see if they are running on it. I have a hard time believing that, but like if that's true, boy, like the wheels are gonna fall off of like 2 promotions at least.
Do you think the Saudis at some point take their ball and go home? Like they say, we saw the fights that we wanted to see. We put on all these great shows, Canelo, Crawford, Usyk, Fury, Joshua Dubois. Do you think they take their ball and go home at some point and say, all right, we've done it already and we've invested $750 million into all this in each sport probably? Do you think they take their ball and go home at some point?
I think they become very selective on what they do instead of just anybody, right? They gave the PFL money, which I was shocked they did that. I'm sure Chachi was over there like, hey, we're over here too. Hook us up. But they would throw money.
Hey, they flew me out to Washington, D.C. I ain't complaining.
For real. Yeah, that's right. But
that Ngannou fight.
Right. No, but here's the thing. The objective, I hate that. Man, I'm gonna get political. Sorry, dude. But the objective of this whole thing is always, to me, seem like a sports washing of their reputation, because no one's talking about Saudi Arabia being an evil spot anymore. It used to, right? Like I'm back when I was growing up, like Saudi Arabia was an evil fucking regime. Now, Riyadh season, they're having comedians come over and do entire fucking they're like doing the travel Saudi stuff. They're trying to get you to there and do the vacations, and so the sports washing of their old reputation is, to me, almost complete. No one talks about them in negative light whatsoever anymore, right? And so, if the sports washing is over, at some point they're gonna be like, all right, see you, Don. All right, see you, F1 or whoever the fuck, or boxing, whatever. We're gonna be very selective of what we do now, because Riyadh season is no longer all sports; it's premium sports. So prepare for the best UFC pay-per-views. I don't know what we're going to call them from now on, but just for the lack of it, numbered events. Prepare for the best UFC numbered events to go over there. And y'all going to get mad about little Apex cards here. And y'all going to get mad about shitty city cards here.
Hey, look at Dakota Ditcheva. Her fight with Keyholtz we're about to talk about. It's the next topic.
Why the fuck? Okay. But you get my point, though? You get it? Like,
yeah, 100%. You can't build a legitimate fan base in Europe or in like my thing, Eddie, was when Bellator was going on at the last days of Bellator, they at least had a legitimate fan base in 2 spots, Ireland and France. They sold out every single time they went there. They brought guys from France. They brought guys from Ireland like James Gallagher and other people they'd keep on the roster because literally probably just because they're from those spots.
Pretty much. Oh, 100%.
Who was the guy they had that came out and was he had the zombie song, was always fighting over there in Ireland. Yeah, but you know who I'm talking about. They had guys that were just there for basically regional fighters on a national stage. So I don't know. We don't really see that necessarily from Patrick. God damn, I can't remember his name. But anyway, so that's kind of what we got going on for the PFL. But they did just have a fight announced between Dakota Ditcheva and Denise Keyholtz, Eddie, somebody that we've covered both of these girls for an extended amount of time. We were expecting that Dakota was going to be fighting Liz Carmouche, right? That was the matchup everybody wanted to see. Liz Carmouche, Dakota Ditcheva, the grappling experience from Carmouche, the toughness versus the new girl on the block and the striking in Dakota Ditcheva. Were you disappointed when they announced this? And how much of a fight do you think Denise Keyholtz puts up against Dakota after we just saw kind of a closer contest against Inaba than what we were accustomed to seeing in Dakota's fights?
Who else are you going to put her up against? They don't have anybody.
Maybe Liz. That's what I was saying. Liz would be the best, in my opinion.
Yeah, and they're not going to do that and kill their only star. I mean, plain and simple, right?
Yeah, I was thinking about it. Like, if you had that fight with Inaba, right? She had that fight with Inaba, and you're like, I'm a little unsure about what's going on with she not looking. Why would you throw it to the toughest girl you have on the roster? You're right. So I think this is maybe a setup matchup, a tune-up fight.
100%. I really doubt we'll get the Dakota Liz fight because again, they're trying to keep their star shining, right? They're trying to keep who's the other kid, the black dude, John.
Thad Gene.
Thank you. Thad John. Whatever, like that. They try to keep those two. They try to keep those two unbeaten in PFL for as long as they possibly can. They're the only stars on their whole ass roster. So you don't want to throw. And if I'm John Martin, I'm never gonna give Liz Carmouche Dakota Ditcheva fucking ever. Like you can fight anybody else you want, Liz. I don't give a shit. But you're not fighting her. Yeah, I mean you're 5 minutes up from being done. Fuck out of here. So, because Liz would absolutely beat her. I don't care what anyone says. Liz, and it wouldn't just be because she could take her down and shit. Because Liz doesn't give up, and Liz has a chin, big ass chin, literally physically, and she's up here. She's a fucking steel trap. Like you say whatever you want about Liz Carmouche is boring and this and that, and gives bullshit answers in interviews and also the garbage.
One of the most mentally tough.
Mentally ironclad up here. She is awesome. She was a Marine. Fucking hell. Like you're not a pansy, you're a Marine for the most part. So, I never want to see that fight. If that happens, boy, put the house on Liz Carmouche. Because I don't see Dakota Ditcheva being that tough. All right. Because right after she beat Inaba, someone she should have mauled and finished, right? She cried because she had a little foot hurt, a little hand hurt. Like, fuck out of here. Liz wouldn't even tell anybody she got hurt. She's like, yeah, it was cool, man. She didn't even fist bump. If Liz Carmouche and I'm not making fun of Dakota, relax. But if Liz Carmouche broke her hand, she would still fist bump everybody on the way out. And she nearly beat Ronda. There you go.
Yeah, I think that's really the toughest matchup for her. Maybe she gets 2 fights and they fight again at the end of the year when Dakota's back in the thick of things and rolling. But I think she needs to get a couple wins under her belt and impressively before they do throw her to Liz. You're right there, Eddie. We did have a couple more matchups announced, one more in the PFL before we get to this boxing, shenanigan fights that we've got that have been announced for this Joshua versus Paul card. We had Shamil Musayev is going to be taking on Ramazan Kurmagomedov. Ramazan Kurmagomedov just defeated Jason Jackson last year to get that Bellator championship. Kind of, I don't know what they're doing here. Maybe they're taking the 2 champions and combining them in a fight, and then you're getting the welterweight champion of the PFL out of this. But undefeated, Ramazan Kurmagomedov is going to face undefeated Shamil Musayev, the tournament champion last year. Shamil Musayev, who scored knockouts over a lot of great contenders, Magomedov and some other people in that tournament. Magomed Umlatov and some other people in that tournament as well. He's going to be facing Ramazan Kurmagomedov, and this is really an interesting fight, Eddie, because Kurmagomedov is a really great grappler, but Musayev is known for knocking grapplers out like Logan Storley and Magomed Umlatov. So who do you got in this one? It's hard for me to bet against Shamil Musayev. I think that he's so well-rounded, silver medalist in wrestling for the Russian national team, then comes over and has that one-punch knockout power that we've all fell in love with in these fights. I don't know if there's a man alive that is better than Shamil Musayev right now at 170 pounds.
Shamil Musayev reminds me of my 10th grade, 9th grade, 10th grade biology teacher. Okay, Mr. Bosch. I ain't gonna put his first name out there because but Mr. Bosch was a really kind man, super nice guy. But when it came to do the sexual education part of his biology class, he had to bring his wife in to do it because anytime he talked about the birds and the bees, this motherfucker would turn red. He would blush. And so, of course, we egged it on. As soon as his wife left, he'd be like, so what's up, Mr. Bosch? You tapping that on the weekend? I wish I offer shit like that. I was a dick. Anyway, but point is this. Shamil Musayev looked like a fucking biology teacher that can maul everybody. It's the most hilarious thing. Like, if you saw him working at Best Buy, you wouldn't blink. He'd be like,
no,
oh,
he looks
cool.
like an accountant. He legit looks like somebody's accountant or something. Looks like a real nice guy.
That being said, that is a terrifying motherfucker to fight if you are solely betting on your grappling to beat this guy. Because he will be like, yeah, stuff the takedown. Here's the elbow. Stuff the takedown. You like knees because I got a few. Boom, boom, boom. Done. Shamil's he got it. He got this shit, man. I want to see it.
And the left hook, too. He knocked out Umatov with it. I'm trying to think of the other guy that he just recently, Murad Ramazanov. He beat him twice, once by unanimous decision in the tournament, once by knockout viciously in the beginning of that tournament. So Murad was knocked out. Umatov was knocked out. I mean, this guy is really impressive with this power. And then we haven't even really seen him use this wrestling that he's credentialed for on a national stage. So I think this is going to be a really, really great contest between two guys that are undefeated.
Shamil Musayev should go to the UFC eventually. Like, he's one of those guys where he's not, he's one of those guys, and I don't know where he's from originally. Russia, for sure, Russia. Yeah, Russia. Okay, so he's Russian, right? But he's not one of the Russians that only grapples. He can actually fucking throw hands. Like,
he likes fucking people up. He's like Justin Gaethje. He'd rather stand on the feet with you. It seems like that's what he prefers to do.
And he'll do it with a fucking straight face too. It's so crazy. So, no, he's a bad motherfucker. He gonna win the fight. He wins that.
Yeah, I think so too. A little bit of a size advantage there as well. But Eddie, we got to talk about Ian Garry and Hamza after their matchup. They had a little bit of exchange of words. I know we had Darren Till's response on our Instagram page here earlier in the week, but Ian Garry, had cameras on him. He showed up at Hamza's side and tried to punk him a little bit in a backstage exchange. Eddie, what did you think of that interaction between the two?
It looks like Hamza's not as tough as everyone thinks he is, huh? He's kind of a little sensitive on Nancy, ain't you, Hamza?
He's the first one that put his hands on him. He got rage baited quick.
Oh, fast. Ian literally just goes, hey, congratulations to Arman. This is your moment. Congrats, man. Hell yeah, good shit. Hey, how you doing, Hamza? And then Hamza got his feelings hurt because of that. And Hamza's like, oh, he hit me. Bitch, what? What are you talking about? Are you really that thin-skinned? Like, are you really that thin-skinned that you get beaten, to Paralys's point, by a guy that is a mental warfare wizard? He did that on purpose. What you should have done, Hamza, is not fucking react to shit. No. That's it. Not even looking. Don't even talk to him. All right? But if you're going to shove him, hit the motherfucker. Have the ball. Just fucking go. All right? I hate when I call fighters like these guys, I call chihuahuas. Guys that bark but don't do shit.
You hate the half-ass fighting?
It's annoying as fuck. You're just like, I fuck you up. I smash. I kill everybody. And then I kill nobody. I go to decision a bunch of times. Like, fuck out of here, dog.
And he's like, if you're going to brawl, have it be like the Nashville brawl.
Don't talk about don't talk about it. Be about it, motherfucker. Let's go. But my thing was this is just like, Ian's fucking with you. He sees something in the future with you. That whole thing was just mental warfare. That's all it was. And you failed the test, Hamza. Congratulations. You played yourself. Now Ian looks like the victim here, and you look like a pansy little bully.
I honestly think that there was so the first reaction I think was between Hamza was genuine towards Ian. He was like, all right, good win tonight, man, Yeah. And then Ian kind of sits there and starts staring him down. Is like, and in his head, the type of guy Ian, he's like, I'm bigger than this guy. He's the middleweight champ. I'm bigger than this guy. I'm faster than this guy. I'm more athletic than this guy. If he doesn't take me down, I could be a two-weight world champ. And Ian's having these delusional thoughts as he's looking at Chimaev. And Chimaev's looking back at him like, you're not thinking this, you fucking idiot, are you? And then he's like, pushes him, because he kind of understands what he's doing. And as a guy, when someone's sitting there looking at you and they're like, I take this motherfucker, and they're trying to think in their mind. That's what I thought it looked like for me, Ian. Ian was kind of like looking at Hamza like, do I think I can do this? And they've called each other out even back in the day when Hamza was at 170 pounds.
Yeah, no, 100%. So it's it's very much what's just like Parallel said. He couldn't let Chael get like Chael couldn't let him get close. But yeah, no, dude. Like it's again, you need to understand. Everyone needs to start understanding that Ian Garry is he plays 10 steps ahead, right? Not that he's 10 steps ahead of you. He plays 10 steps ahead. He's already thinking about a possible matchup with this dude in the future. You know what's gonna happen if Ian Garry makes it to a title fight at 170 and fucking wins the damn thing? You know what he's gonna do if Hamza's still the champion? He's calling out Hamza Chimaev
immediately,
and it's gonna work because Hamza already got his feelings hurt. That's all it was, and then not his feelings, but he got triggered, whatever you want to call it. Like all these guys, look, the tough guy like Hamza, it's over. You showed your ass. It is what it is, right? So now next time you see Ian, you're gonna have to do something. You can't just stand there and be like, I fucking kill you guys. Like none of that shit. You can't do that no more. If you see Ian and you don't smack the motherfucker, all right, tuck tail and leave, bro. That's all it was. He owned you. You cannot let it go 2-0. Ian won. Ian won this one. Darren Till can say whatever he wants. All right, every time Darren Till talks, it sounds like he's gonna cry. I don't want to hear it. I'm done.
Yeah. Yeah, and Darren Till, I mean, he has a relationship with Hamzat, so he probably has a biased opinion in the whole situation.
100%.
Yeah. So, but Eddie, we did have some good news, some Thanksgiving, some things that we were grateful for. Dana White came out and made some announcements for UFC 324 as well as a Volkanovski matchup versus Diego Lopez for the pay-per-view following the January Paramount Plus debut. On that Paramount Plus debut, though, Eddie, we have Justin Gaethje taking on Paddy Pimblett, as well as some other fights. Do we have a list of all the fights? I know that we posted something on our story.
I posted the video, so you're gonna have to give me 1 second. I'll pull it up.
Kayla Harrison will be taking on Amanda Nunes as well in a matchup that we knew was coming at some point. It happened during the summer that those two faced off. Amanda Nunes came in the cage.
Check this out. Topology coming in clutch. Give me 1 second. I'll put it up. So this is the god damn it. This is the card they have going.
6 fights get announced here.
Yeah, right. So they announced 6 fights, but there's more fights in this card already. Gaethje Pimblett, Harrison Nunes, O'Malley Song, Acosta Lewis, Arnold Allen John Silva, Nikita Krylov, Modestas Bukauskas is low-key a banger. All right, Alexa Grasso, Rosemary Yunus, banger. Umar Nurmagomedov against Davidson Figueiredo,
banger.
Yeah, Atiba Gautier against Andre Puliev. Let's go. Let's don't even add more fights. That's enough for me. I love it, right? But they can add more fights, obviously. But it's the UFC announcing to the world, we're on Paramount Plus. We're gonna bring this shit. We're grabbing our balls in this first one. All right, and if you don't like the matchups, eat it, because everyone's bitching about every matchup now.
I mean, what is there really to complain about? Sean O'Malley is sitting here, and he's probably the most well-known guy on this card. Yeah. He's the third fight on the card versus Song Yadong, who's not an easy out. I have O'Malley probably winning that fight by knockout. I think he's a little more technical. But starting off the card so far, if it stays at 4 fights, we're going to have Waldo Cortez Acosta and Derek Lewis, which is almost a guaranteed knockout. Now, we have seen Derek Lewis fight Francis in the past, and that fight wasn't necessarily up to expectation. But I think that second time around here in a very entertaining matchup, potentially, that's going to be very fun. And then Arnold Allen Gene Silva and Davison Figueiredo versus Umar Nurmagomedov, those are great matchups there in the lower weight classes.
Yeah, and a lot of people is it 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, Alan Silva is part of the main card, so there you go. So we have 5 fights on the main card. I just looked it up right now. No, the matchups. Look, the matchups are good. They're good matchups, right? Right now, what everyone's complaining about is who deserves this and who deserves that and all that shit. But guys, take it for what it is. Okay, this is gonna be like the coming out part of the UFC with no more pay-per-views. I think I'm hyped for it. I already got my Paramount Plus subscription. I've been watching shit on that like every night, like for the last couple of weeks now. It's gonna go up by like a couple bucks apparently, but I'm hyped about it, dude.
Yeah,
all right.
I'm too.
Hey, no more ESPN.
We're gonna watch all this shit for the first time for less than the $80 price tag that we've been paying. We're gonna save so much money as fight fans. But what was I gonna say here, Eddie? There is scroll back up to me for me for the main event here. I was gonna ask you about this main event here. So obviously, Arman Tsarukyan is going to have to sit out. Justin Gaethje versus Paddy Pimblett. Do you think that Paddy Pimblett was thrown in here against Gaethje, who said he was going to retire if he didn't get this title opportunity? Do you think this is something that had to happen due to just the divorce, or would you have liked to see this matchup regardless of whether Ilya was sitting out or not?
No, this is because Ilya's sitting out, 100%. I fully believe we were about to get Paddy against Ilya. I fully believe Ilya was just like, I'm not signing this thing yet. I don't know what's going on. This is getting crazy. I got personal things going on. And then I think it got to the point where the UFC is like, Ilya, sign the contract or fuck off. And Ilya's like, look, man, I can't do this shit right now. Like, I'm going through it. This is getting really rough. And I don't blame him. All right? I know he's a champion and all that, but he's still a man. Like, y'all human. He's a human, right? Like, understand that it's just hard. Divorce is hard for anybody. So I understand why he's doing it, right? But Justin Gaethje, like you said, he's going to retire if he didn't get a title fight. He said the UFC owed him. I fully fucking agree. Justin Gaethje took fights he should not have been taking, all right? Because he's a company man, because apparently they promised him a title shot. So now they made it happen. There you go, right? So I never thought we were going to get this matchup, and I never cared to get this matchup, right? I want to see Patty and Ilya, or I want to see Ilya go up and fight Islam, or I wanted to see Justin and Ilya, but I didn't care to see Patty in there against Justin at all. So now that we're getting it, honestly, banger of a fight.
Yeah, I think it's a pretty good fight as well. The well-known name in Justin Gaethje, fan favorite, versus the upstart Paddy Pimblett from Europe, who's obviously the biggest star to come over there.
Would this be the second interim title if he wins? The second interim title?
It will be for Gaethje. And he said after that Ferguson fight, he's like, I'm never fighting for an interim title again. Dude, but
he threw the belt on the ground because he said it wasn't the real one.
Yeah. Yeah.
I love that dude. He's a wild boy.
But I like what you said about Ilia Topuria. I don't think that he should come back either, especially when you're not at 100%. And he's at a different level than the rest of these guys. The rest of these guys, if you got to come back, I mean, we've seen guys fight when their parents just died because they have to. We've seen guys fight through extreme circumstances. But when you're at the point of Ilia Topuria and John Jones, and you're undefeated pound for pound #1, and you're the guy who is looked to carry the torch for this sport for the next 5 to 6 to 7 years, you cannot jeopardize that on one night because you're not at 100%. So I agree with you, Eddie, that he has to sit there and come back when he is fully confident in his abilities and that he is firing on full cylinders.
Calling it now, Ilia does not come back in the spring. He comes back for the White House card.
I like that prediction.
Calling it.
I like that prediction. And if Gaethje wins, that's a big matchup for America. Regardless. Think about it. Patty and him they hate each other. He called him a pussy when he went in last week.
I was laughing. I was like, this motherfucker. Like, because he's in there cornering his brothers. And Patty was cornering like 2 or 3 guys in that card. It's you got to, if Patty wins, which I'm not going to lie to you, I kind of expect Patty to win this one.
I do too.
I would say that matchup would between Patty and Ilya is going to have a lot of fire. All right, you guys want to get heated, get hyped about press conferences? About damn time. Patty wins this fight. That press conference with Ilya for the announcement of the ticket sales, and then the one on that Thursday night is going to be hilarious.
Yeah, I think that's probably the most action that we'd have during a fight week leading up to the fight. And certainly would probably sell the most pay-per-views of any of them. But Eddie, we did have one more title fight that we got to talk about. Alexander Volkanovski is going to be returning versus Diego Lopez, fighting him for the second time. I think this is a card back in Australia, correct?
Yes.
Yeah. So, I mean, I don't know, Eddie. I think that this probably sold the most tickets, but in my opinion, Lerone Murphy was most deserving because of that knockout over Aaron Pico. It was the knockout of the year. He's on like an 8 or 9 fight winning streak. You got Movsar Evloev, who's on a double-digit winning streak and has already beaten Diego Lopez. And somehow Diego Lopez has had 2 title opportunities before Movsar Evloev has fought for the belt 1 time. So, I mean, we mentioned it previously in the show. It used to be in a meritocracy before 2016, but since then it's almost all eyeballs. Eddie, but I just feel bad for those 2 guys, Movsar Evloev and Lerone Murphy, and it looks like those 2 on Twitter have agreed to fight for the #1 contenders, Lerone Murphy and Movsar Evloev. So Movsar ends up saying, Movsar came on and said, well, looks like we have to fight for the #1 contender legit, and it's like, well, guys, you just got passed up. Diego Lopez is a #1 contender right now, fellas. Maybe, we could have been more active, Movsar, in the last year and a half. But if those 2 do fight, I don't know how you don't give one of them a title opportunity.
No, I don't want them to fight. Fuck out of here. Lerone should have been next, and Movsar is too damn inactive. Bottom line. Now, all Lerone's doing is giving Movsar a massive opportunity because I think Movsar probably wins that fight. Bores the shit out of us, we probably wins that fight. But all Lerone's doing is literally here, take my fucking shine. Just take it. I don't give a shit anymore. That's literally what Lerone's doing. Because I don't see Lerone beating Movsar. I don't. You know what I mean? Now, I did ask Lerone at UFC 319. I said, do you think your lack of trash talk, or at least, putting yourself out there and talking, do you think that's hurt your opportunities in UFC? And he said, yes. If I talked more with the way I fight, I probably got more opportunities, but that's not who I am. Unfortunately, Lerone, that would have worked 15 years ago. It's not going to work now. You can't just let your fighting dude talking anymore, or you're going to end up having to win, 10, 11 in a row, like Marab, all right, in order to get a chance. So what Lerone needs to do, if this fight actually happens, is knock Movsar Eloyev the fuck out. It has to be that. And then say, I'm next, motherfucker. Let's go. You know what I mean?
I agree with you, Eddie, but at the same time, he just knocked out someone more viciously than maybe we've ever seen in UFC history.
Right.
I don't know what the guy could do. It's like you brought in this kid, and you thought that Aaron Pico was the matchup nightmare for Lerone. You thought that, he'd be able to take him down. He's got big power on the hands. He's going to put him on the back foot. Well, that didn't go well for any of you guys. And Hunter Campbell was sitting there holding his head like this after Aaron Pico got knocked out in Chicago. There's a video of it, and the guy's like, what? And he's holding – it's like, bro, this shit can happen. Warren Murphy's one of the best in the world. And when he goes in there and upsets your boy, give him the respect that he deserves in doing so, in my opinion. So, yeah, I feel bad for Warren Murphy. But like you said, I think that his lack of personality probably plays into it a little bit.
He knows it. He knows. I even joked around afterwards. I'm like, hey, man, you're going to start the trash talking school of Warren Murphy? He started laughing. Like, I'm just be myself. And I'm like, I get it. And I really hope that works out for you. But I had a feeling you were going to do this shit to my guy. And I don't want to see. Look, I'm a Diego Lopez fan. I love watching that dude fight. He's fun as hell. I don't want to see him in a rematch. What? So we can see the same shit happen again?
And it wasn't even that close.
It wasn't close. It wasn't close. I don't care what the scorecard said. It was not close.
Yeah, I thought it was closer to 4-1 than 3-2.
Yeah, pretty much. No, I agree, 100%.
Yeah. So Eddie, real quick, the UFC is off this week, but I saw you post on Instagram that there is some significant fights that hardcore fight fans, if they're wanting to get their fix this weekend, can tune in for. What are some of those cards that fight fans can see?
Fuck me, dude. You caught me off guard on this one, boy. I have nothing.
Oh, my man. I thought you posted something from like LFA, or maybe it was
no LFA. There's oh fuck me, what is it? There's like 2 or 3. Oh fuck,
Fight Pass cards.
Arcana something. Trust me, they're out there. Hey, someone's fighting this weekend, 100%. Off the top of my head, I can't remember. But there's MMA shit going on this tomorrow and tonight, I think. I'll have to put that on Twitter. Sorry, folks. I was totally spaced on it. I have
you did post it on Instagram earlier.
Okay, yeah, I'll have to look on that. But either way, honestly, motherfuckers, go outside, touch grass, take your friends, go out with your buddies. What are we doing?
Yeah, spend time with family and stuff.
Yeah, like this whole thing when this, like, first of all, okay, like, real quick, I know we have to go, but off of this point, am I wrong? That pay-per-view, UFC 224, will be the first Paramount Plus card overall?
Yes, yeah.
We're going to have about 4 weeks of nothing? December 13th is the last UFC card of the year.
They do normally do those 2 weeks off at the end of the year.
But they don't stop at December 13th. They usually push it just a little bit longer, don't they?
The 19th or 20th, yeah.
Yeah. So we're about to have, I think, like 3 or 4 weeks of nothing.
Are they going to announce a Fight Night card at the Apex at the end of the year here or something?
I don't know. I don't think so. Yeah, I think they would have announced it by now. So either way, December 13th is the next one. We got UFC 323 next week. Week after that is December 6th. Sorry, December 6th UFC 323. December 13th is the last UFC Apex card with Brandon Royval. Mike Owens, I talked to him yesterday, the day before. That's up on our YouTube. Make sure you guys check that out. And then it's him and Manel Kopp. And then that's it for till January 24th or whatever it is. It's wild. And thank you. Jesus Christ. Oh, no, never mind.
Oh, they're back. They've been in the last couple of years, they've been having some really good shows. Yeah. Bellator versus Ryzen 3 years ago. Then you have the Ryzen New Year's Eve shows the last 2 years. Both of them were pretty good. Roberto Soja will be fighting. There's a guy out of Khabib's camp that's undefeated that'll be in the UFC in short order. He's fighting respected Japanese former champion as well. I believe that's the main event. But Ryan Bader's on the card. Danny Sabatello from Chicago.
Bader's out.
Oh, Bader's out. Okay.
Bader's out. Yeah.
Sabatello's still in, correct?
I want to say he's still in.
Sabatello fought in Bellator, big trash talking guy and a good wrestler as well.
Yeah, there you go.
There'll be some good fights over there in Japan, but that's about 2 weeks away as well. So, fight fans, we will bring you any breaking news and instant analysis that we have between now and next Wednesday. We will at some point have an end of the year show where me and Eddie will give our knockout of the year, fight of the year, contender of the year, people to look out for, stuff like that, male and female fighters. So, fight fans, we will see you next Wednesday.
No, we're not off the hook. Not off the hook. What do you think before an MMA, bro? I saw your question. I liked it.
What do you say? What am I thankful for in MMA? I think that a lot of these fresh contenders, man, when I'm sitting here and I'm looking at the Gable Stevensons, I'm looking at the Imavovs, I'm looking at, these guys that we're talking, Shavkat Rakhmonov, Lerone Murphy, all these guys. I mean, I'm just thankful that we have fresh-blooded contenders and guys who are not unentertaining. When we see the Ian Garrys and we see the Shavkats and we see these guys, Imavov, like he's knocking out former champions, and we, Sean Brady, these young kids going in there, and Carlos Prates finishing Leon Edwards, both of them, and then we see Morales finishing Brady. We just have so much fresh blood right now that I think the sport's in really good hands with these kids moving forward in the next 10 years. And we're going to keep seeing guys like Michael Morales. He's going to be huge in Latin America here over the next 10 years. And a lot of these guys, I think, are going to grow into really, really big superstars here in the next 2 to 3, 4 years.
Yeah. For me, it has to be okay. We're seeing right now in the last 10 years or so this rise of fake news bullshit and people hating journalists in journalism, right? Because what journalists report doesn't line up with what they believe and what their team says, right? That has spread into MMA, right? This guy, of course, everybody is, man. But Dana White started using that fake news shit a handful of years ago, and it has hurt the media 100%. It's gotten to the point where people that were fans have just taken his word for everything, talking about we're lying, we're fake. And when we're proven correct, we don't hear anything about it. Okay. It makes it very difficult to continue in the space knowing that your hard work is going to be doubted and pissed on and shit on and completely disregarded because you're media, right? What I'm thankful for is guys like you, guys like Jake Noker, guys like Gabriel Gonzalez, Dylan Rush, Dylan Napoleon, Pat Dana, guys like Jay Anderson, guys like just all our guys, Mathis on our team, guys like Mike Owens, Danny Breland, guys that still do this shit every single day, regardless of what the public says, regardless of what dummy fight fans say, regardless of what Dana White wants to throw out there and spit on us about, regardless of what kind of garbage Coachman goes out there and says to everybody at the PFL fucking post fights, we still do this. And we don't do it for money, because clearly we ain't getting paid shit. All right, I run Cageside President. I make nothing on this thing, okay? But what I'm thankful for is the human beings that do this job, because it's very difficult to keep doing this thing. It's a hard job to begin with, guys. Very difficult to from the very base level, just to write an article about something, right? And making sure it's all, accurate. It's all, it's all true, that you vet your sources, right? And then I see these new guys coming in trying to do this. There's a kid out of Colorado named Clive. I'm not gonna put his last name out there. Named Clive. Okay, he's 15 years old. All right, maybe a week or two ago, he hit me up. He does this podcast called Stories of Glory Podcast, at Stories of Glory Podcast on Instagram. Please hit them up. He just talked to Sam Alvey. He's 15 years old. This kid hit me up asking for a spot on the team, not to be sent to a UFC event, not to go talk to fucking Conor McGregor or whatever. He wants to learn. He asked for an opportunity to learn. Okay, think about it, guys. In a space that is dominated by shitbags that make it to the top by stepping on everybody else to get to the top, and then when they get there, all they do is try to get out of their space. Okay, someone already named the guy. Okay, to get out of the space and go do other shit. It comes back and just does it because he's here. It's refreshing as hell to see people that give a fuck. It really is, right? And I've been in every piece of journalism you could think of: investigative journalism, human right, I was a columnist, human interest pieces that I wrote. Nothing has been more rewarding, because what I value is the people I get to work with and lead. I love my team. I will put my team up against anybody else's, and we will destroy. All right. The only reason that those guys are all talked about is because they have massive platforms created by companies. That's all it is. All right. I say this to everybody. I'll say it to their face. I say it to everybody. Any UFC event I've gone to where people ask me about it, I always say I will put my team against anybody's any day of the week, and we will dominate. Because I believe in my guys because they believe in themselves and they believe in what we do, and they don't do it because it pays or because it makes them famous. They do it because they love it. So that, my friends, is what I'm thinking for today.
That was nice, nice sentiment there, Eddie. And none of us could be successful unless you put us in a position to succeed.
I appreciate you, man.
Got to be thankful for you
Appreciate
too. There, fight fans, have a happy Thanksgiving, happy holidays. Spend it with your family, and take care of yourself out there and drive safe this weekend. We will see you next Wednesday. We'll bring you any instant news and breaking analysis that we have over the next couple days. Took some time off on Wednesday on Black Friday. To spend some time, or I'm sorry, Blackout Wednesday.
Blackout Wednesday. Blackout Wednesday.
But yeah, I wasn't drinking or anything, but we're spending some time with some family, watching some basketball. So make sure everybody spends some time with their family this holidays, and we'll see you guys next Wednesday. Thanks for joining us, and we'll bring you any news that we hear over the week.
Bear down, Arizona. Fuck ASU.
Bear down.
Yeah.